Okay. So everyone wants to say where you're from. I apologize for the technical difficulties. Okay, I'm in Chester Springs, Pennsylvania. Wonderful, Long Island. My student from Long Island went to Stony Brook, BSMD program, Orange County, amazing. I'm going to be there in December. Dallas, Texas, wonderful. Okay, so let's get started. I've had a lot of success with the BSMD program and with the pre-med program. And I do want to address the recent news that is there about the changes in the Supreme Court and everything. So hang tight.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
God.
Okay, great. Muted them. Yeah. Okay, Maui, which screen are we seeing? Let me just bring it here. Yes, I will be sharing all the details of this. Yes, Maui, I'll try to make you, there's something wrong with this screen. Okay, now this one, great. I made you the co-host, Maui, and sorry about the technical difficulties. There's something wrong with my monitor. Okay, so let's get started. My presentations are long and intense, so bear with me. My husband is always like, why is it that you need to have, hold on a minute, there's something going on with this. I need to share my screen too, okay.
Okay, Coach, I can talk now.
Okay, great. I'm sorry, there's something wrong with my monitor that I need to fix. I apologize for holding everybody. Which screen are you seeing, Maui?
The BSMD presentation.
Okay, great. So let's get started. Who here is excited to know more? I need a lot of thumbs up, thumbs down, keeps my energy going. Please ask any questions that is there. We will address them. And I will have an extended Q&A session, so don't worry. Yes, you will get a copy of the slides. And yeah, I will address all your questions towards the end. I do struggle with ADHD and a lot of things, and I get easily distracted. So I will address all your questions towards the end of the presentation. Okay, so who's ready to get started, learn more about the BSMD program? Yeah, thumbs up, thumbs down. Great, 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 great. Yes, let's go. Okay, a bit about me. It's good to know who I am, right? So I started off as an immigrant. I came here in '99. I studied in India. I did go to a tier 2 IV there, REC Calicut. But when I went through my son's process, I did struggle a lot with the lack of clarity that was out there. And I decided to make it my mission to like sort of share my knowledge with people, right? So that's why I started this whole gifted gapper to break the myth and to bring clarity into the process, be it college admissions, academics, whatever it is that you're looking for, you will find it here. And my mission is to help teens reach their maximum potential. Get it? I believe that our teens are exceptionally smart. And being Gen Z, their brain processing is about 10 times of what we have. But where they lack is clarity. Get it? And their attention span is about 8 seconds. So considering all this, like, how do you make them productive and reach the finish line? That has been my whole goal in in making them successful, be it study skills, be it the college admission process, creating extracurricular activities, everything. I have a holistic approach to building a profile. I don't believe in giving teens a blueprint or a plan and telling them to like, hey, go follow it. No, you've got to build that plan with them, right? It needs to align with their talent and interests. So that's what I aspire to do. As parents, you need to remember that, yes, you will gain this amount of knowledge, but to make your child a student, implement that plan, I really think you need me for that because of my unique way of coaching, counseling, and a results-oriented process that is there. Okay. Okay, a bit about my credentials. I'm a Tony Robbins certified life coach. I'm a positive psychology coach. I started off coaching ADHD kids on how to focus and be successful, because I do have attention deficiency, and I have a shiny object syndrome where I just buy courses, or I buy anything new, I don't finish them, or I start something new, I never used to finish them. So it was quite a struggle for me, and have been able to concentrate and focus a lot. Right. So I really empathize and work well with students with learning differences. I would not say disability at all, differences. Right. I'm an executive functioning skills coach. So basically, executive functioning skills are the prefrontal cortex of the brain. Okay, so that's where all your planning, prioritization, focus, everything is there, the prefrontal cortex of the brain. And in the teens, it's just developing. The prefrontal cortex is developing. But the thing is, our school system and this whole college planning process, everything puts an extreme amount of stress in their prefrontal cortex, which is still developing. Got it? So I've been trained under Peg Dawson, who's a leading psychologist, and I apply her methodology and techniques in gaining all those skills. There are two main components in a student's success. Okay, that is, of course, we know it's academics, but the second one is executive functioning skills, which is a student who masters the executive functioning skills, communication skills, and academic skills are the ones who really, really are successful, right? And executive functioning skills are mostly planning, prioritization, focus, the goal to like succeed and all that. And even though students are not born with perfect executive functioning skills, it's something that can be developed, right? And that's been my focus and sort of my research as well. I'm also a meditation instructor, which has helped me focus a lot better and stay calmer. And my college counseling, I did it from UC Berkeley. Okay. And so let's get to where we are now, which is the complete counseling. So who is this program for? If you are a parent who are looking to skyrocket your child's success, you are in the right place. And if you want to build an extremely good profile for BSMD, you are in the right place. I mean, I have so many unique passion projects. I run research programs and everything. I mean, you will find every single resource that's needed to help your child. You want to outplay your competition. The competition is intense, right? So you're in the right place. And if you want to ignite or sort of give your child the best education and the learning experience from experts, you will have it here, because I hire the best coaches, mentors, and instructors, right? For essays, I have an ex-admission officer who's a stellar essay coach. And I run research program with Dr. 𝐂𝐡𝐢𝐥𝐝 for the biomed. So I simply I would say my best talent is to get the best talent from my students. Okay, so you're in the right place if you're looking for all of this. And of course, I expect parents to be unapologetically ambitious for your child. Okay, and in my world, it's okay to be ambitious. You are here because you want your child to succeed, period. Got it? That's it. And that is what our goal is. Okay. You're not in the right place, or this is not a place for you if you're looking for shortcuts. I'm sorry, there are no shortcuts. It's putting in that work and doing the right thing, right? And if your child is reluctant to put in that hard work and effort, this is not the place for you. Or you're looking for a minimal effort and maximum success. I have a lot of parents approaching me and asking me, can you assure that my child's research paper will be approved? Or how much is the time commitment and everything? Yes, we would like to know time commitment, but when it comes to research or any effort that you're doing with a lot of passion and talent, time is immaterial, right? So that's what it is. And if you think that grades alone will land you in the BSMD program, then this is not the place for you, because there's so many parameters and components that go into BSMD, and I'm going to show you what they are. And if you're a deal seeker, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make it in the wrong way, but if the focus is not quality and the outcome, a positive outcome, then unfortunately, my programs are not for you. Okay, so with that, let's get started. This is the agenda, and I'm going to go over the different medical paths, because that's something that is extremely important. The options that are there, it's just not, you cannot put all your eggs in the BSMD basket. You need to see what options you have. Even though you don't select them, it's good to be aware. I'm going to compare the BSMD program with the BSDO, which is a very, very popular program. Ingredients of a successful applicant. And I wrote medical applicant because when we create a profile for BSMD, we have a lot of pre-med programs as well baked in, okay? And our results, our gifted gapper results, and our edge and our formula for cracking the BSMD program, okay? So let's get started, okay? So our freebies and specials, everything will be announced towards the end. We will give you this presentation as a part of the recording, and everything comes with it. Along with that, we will share a list of colleges that don't have MCAT requirement. That's a very popular question that parents ask, and I will tell you personally, I don't think it's a good idea to just focus on colleges, applying for colleges that don't have MCAT, and I'll tell you why in all in good time. Okay, so let's get started. Are you ready to make an impact in your child's future? Yes or no? Yes or no? Let's see. Are you ready? Absolutely. Yep. Please.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so if you are multitasking, please come back to me. This is a very, very crucial a presentation to make you understand what this program is, what are the different components, how to navigate through this. Okay, so let's get started. Our successes. Our students have gotten into all these wonderful schools. Our research student got into Stanford, Johns Hopkins, full tuition, UC Berkeley, Cornell, our engineering, Cornell Engineering, Georgia Tech, Carnegie Mellon. Sahasra got into there. She was my research and my counseling student. St. Louis University was BSMD program with 125K merit, 8. Case Western. So a lot of colleges my students have gotten into with our mentorship. Okay. So that's what we have. And I just want to tell you, how did this program start, right? Why is it that we started the program? The thing is, during the pandemic, when everything closed down, my students were struggling, basically to create a profile, right? Because BSMD has some very, very unique requirements, unlike any other programs that you apply to. They're very super specific, and I'll go over it in the extracurricular activities. And because of the pandemic, everything shut down, right? So how is it that we could still create a profile while being at home, right? My students didn't want to waste their time. They were hungry to learn and grow, and that is how we started this program, right? Our research program start. I was obsessed with making BSMD counseling mainstream and finding a solution for it. I mean, I was like baffled. Why is this so elusive? I mean, how do I crack the code for BSMD? Being in my counseling network, I approached a lot of experts and mentors who helped me through this journey, right? So the information that I have access to, or I'm going to share, is not something that you will get easily on Google, right? These are information that counselors have access to, and I pay thousands of dollars to be members of these associations so that I can reach out and get them. Got it? And I started hiring the best mentors in the industry to help my students. I don't believe that I'm just the single expert that is there. I get the overall idea. I know how to break down the complex parts into smaller bits that's manageable, but still I get the best mentors and teachers who are out there who can help and guide my students. Got it? So that's how this whole program started. Okay. And of course, the knowledge that I gained changed my life, right? And it was an aha moment. I was able to formulate or come up with a success formula and the exact steps that's needed for getting into the program. Right, right from the priorities and everything, I applied my formula with my students, and they've been successful, right? And that's what I want to share with you, right? Okay. So here are our results. Our students have gotten to Harvard pre-med. St. Louis BSMD program with 125K merits. I did that. Texas NMed, Augusta was Shreya. Augusta BSMD program. Stony Brook was Anjali. Hofstra is Siraj. Vanderbilt is Saket. UC Merced, SJV Prime Plus is a new program. Siraj did get in. NYU is Pramodini. University of South Alabama, Fulbright is Sai. I also have case studies that we've created that shows how we went about creating the BSMD profile for it. It's Sai that we have, and I can share that later. Okay, so this has been our success. Okay, so let's get started. Who going into the next phase? Who wants to know the success formula? Yeah, are you ready? Got it. Okay, I need a lot of love. Okay, great, fantastic.
We all want to know.
Great. So sit tight and don't worry, get some popcorn or coffee. You don't need to make notes because I will be sharing this recording with you, but please, do ask your questions, and don't be shy. Okay, so let's go over the different medical programs that are there. Okay, the different paths. Basically, there are 3 different paths that are there. One is the traditional path, which is they do an undergrad, which is 4 years. Then they apply for the med school, right? What they have to do at that point in time is basically write their MCAT exam. Like, they need to finish the requirements that's needed in the undergrad. And there's nothing called as a pre-med major. You can major in anything, specify, make sure that you've done the course requirement, which is this. Got it? So you can do any major, but make sure that at the end of the 4 years, you have biology with 2 semesters of lab, physics, general chemistry, organic chemistry, biochemistry, English, math, and all these things. And some med schools, they prefer psychology and statistics, right? So these are the things that you need to have in your profile before you apply to the MD program. Got it? And also it helps to do these specific AP courses that are there, statistics and psychology, so that you can transfer the credits to the colleges. Okay, so any questions about the traditional program? Of course, as a part of applying to med school, along with the MCAT score, they expect research, they express clinical experience, they expect it, and they also want to see some volunteering. So during the course of 4 years, students are expected to have gathered this in their profile and then apply to the med school. So this is the traditional route. Okay, then there is another route, which is in between the traditional and the BSMD program, which is the early assurance program. These programs are designed in such a way that students apply for this program in the sophomore year of their undergraduate program. Okay, so I like this better than either one of them, because it gives time for students to really make up their mind and decide whether they want to be a doctor or they are in for the long haul. You do need to understand that preparing to be a doctor is like 8 to 10 years. It is like a really, really long journey, and students need to be committed for that, right? And this gives them some time to decide whether they really want to go through the program, the BSMD program. So Case Western has this wonderful option where in the sophomore year, they apply for the BSMD program. Okay. And the third is the most popular one, the combined BSMD or BAMD. I'm going to tell you the different flavors that are there. It's basically a guaranteed MD program, right? You're guaranteed. It's an 8-year program. So you get undergrad and grad together, but every college is different. They have their own requirement. They all have their own GPA requirement, the MCAT score requirement to be in that program. Okay, and also BSMD programs cost universities a lot, right? They have to create this special program, and that is why they're so particular in picking a student. It's like a perfect storm that they're expecting, which is rather unrealistic, but yes, they have the reasons for it because of the investment they're putting on the students, right? So these are the 3 kinds of programs. The advantage of the early assurance program is at 17, when students are applying to colleges, they really don't have much insight about what it's going to be, right? And it's in my opinion, a good idea to test waters, go into the undergrad and see whether it gives them that extra 2 years to figure out, grow up, and decide whether they want to pursue a medical career. Okay, so that is the advantage of the early assurance program. Okay, the other option that I mentioned is the DO program, which is basically Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine. Okay, so it's one of the fastest growing industry that is there. My very own physician is a DO. Okay, I asked Coleman, he's my physician, I mean, my primary care physician. Oh, where did you go to? He said, oh, I went to Noah Southeastern. I did my DO program there. So he did his DO program and came into the mainstream. So DO doctors come into the mainstream. And also the difference between them is, okay, BSMD is allopathic, right? The modern medicine, but BSDO is holistic and osteopathic or like the spine manipulating a program, or it's different, but it is well recognized and it is still very popular in the medical field. Okay. So the BSDO programs are a shade less competitive than the MD programs. They are still very, very competitive, but a bit lesser than that. And when a student gets into the program, the BSDO or the BADO is also easier than the BSMD. Okay. BSMD versus the VSDO. Basically, MD is modern medicine, like I mentioned, or allopathy. DO is osteopathy, and it's osteopathic manual medicine. It's a little different, but it's the fastest growing industry that we have seen. And doctors, like 60% of them come into the mainstream, or they remain DO doctors as well. Okay. Now coming into the BSMD program. Any questions about the DO, please type away. Don't think that it's any less important or not significant. There are a lot of students pursuing the BSDO degree, and they have done very, very well in their profession and in their career, and they've contributed a lot. Okay. About the BSMD program. So it's called a direct medical program. Like I mentioned, it's BS plus MD without having to go through the whole admissions process. The key thing that is most attractive about the program is you're assured of a medical, not a degree, a medical seat, because it's combined, right? Whereas if you go through the traditional route, there's always an uncertainty of whether you'll get into the med school. So that is the biggest advantage, but the MCAT and the other requirement and staying in the program varies from school to school, right? And also please keep in mind, colleges that don't have the MCAT requirement, they are 10 times harder to get it. Right? Since they've waived off their MCAT requirement, they scrutinize, or they sort of have a very rigorous process of picking a student in that, right? So please don't think that your student needs to apply just to colleges that don't have the MCAT requirement. Any BSMD, any college that offers BSMD is exceptional. Is very good. So you don't need to sort of nitpick on the BSMD program, but just sort of apply to it. I sort of pick colleges that are not very popular or not very mainstream, and my students do get into them, right? And how hard is it to get into the BSMD program? It's anywhere from, I would have to change this, it's not even 10%. It's anywhere from 1 to 3% acceptance rate. So if I were to tell you, it's much harder to get into the BSMD program than an Ivy League, much lower than your chances of getting into the Stanford program. It's that selective. And I told you why it is like that, because they are preparing students to be doctors, and the program is super expensive, and they have to spend a lot of resources to create this program. And as a result, they're super selective. And the news in the buzzwine is a lot of them want to get away with this direct MD program because of the rigor, right? Because of the rigor, and it's extremely hard to run a program like this. The dropout rate is also notorious because students find it very hard to stay in this program. It's extremely rigorous. So yes, that's why it's so difficult to get in. Okay, so the major components are this BSMD and there is BAMD. I mean, there's a common misconception that you need to do a BS program to get into the, to be a doctor. I know students who've gone into Drexel who've taken BAMD, got it? And I asked this girl, hey, why? And you're going to be a doctor, isn't it a sciencey thing? Why are you pursuing a BA degree in the undergrad? she's like, Joe, I want to pursue literature and history, and I want to do that. And I want the first 2 years of my undergrad to be that. So please don't think that it's just arts and they're not going to be focusing on science. So typically in the undergrad program for the BA MD, the first 2 years is the arts and all that non-STEM. Then the second 2 years, the third and fourth year, they catch up on the science requirements that I showed you, the organic chemistry, the biology, and everything that's needed for the MD program. Got it? So it's a very, very good option. There are a lot of colleges that offer this. Drexel is one of them. I forget the list of the programs that offer BA MD. Okay. So now to the number of years. There's either 7 or 8. Augusta that Shreya got in is a 7-year program. Most of them are 8 years, but it's usually 3 plus 4. It's not, it's always, they sort of accelerate the undergrad program, but they do not disturb the MD program, which is 4 years. That's not compromised, but the undergrad program is shrunk. And also, if you have significant amount of APs that you have in the high school, you can transfer them and shave off a lot of courses there. So this is what my son is not pursuing medicine, but he did graduate with 20 APs. And he was able to transfer most of them to Georgia Tech, and he graduated in 2.5 years. So that is how it is, right? So if you sort of accumulate, but again, there's a caveat here. I mean, I know a lot of parents over engineering it and piling on students with AP courses. AP courses are college level courses, which are extremely hard to do in the high school. Got it? So you need to have exceptionally good skills, executive functioning skills, the kind of discipline that's needed to sort of ace an AP exam. And it doesn't look good in a student profile that you take on that AP and don't do well, right? I have students, I mean, I have students who come to me with C's and D's. It's not like they're not smart or anything, but the AP courses can really, really stump you. So if your child, please pick AP courses only if your child is doing very well in the prerequisites. They are getting a steady A, they're breezing through the prerequisite. That is when you sort of add the AP courses in them, right? And also, if your child is in the gifted program, whichever state you are from, then they have a higher chance of acing their APs, right? There's no point in taking APs and not doing well, because they cannot be transferred. If you don't have good scores, then the credits cannot be transferred to a college, and then it also makes your overall profile look not so great. So please, this is something that I see very, very often, and that's the whole reason I'm starting my study skills program for students. Okay, so now is a quiz. Which program are you leaning towards? 1, the traditional pre-med track, 2, the early assurance, or 3, the BSMD or the accelerated medical. Let us see your responses. Please type away. Very good, very good, very good. Come on, let's do that.
BSMD.
Very nice. I need, yes, very good, very good. Please answer away. Show me some love. If you are multitasking, please come back. Please come back so that we can discuss. No problem. Okay, so let's move on to the next phase of our program. Any questions about these programs, please type away. I will address them. Okay, so key ingredients. Who wants to learn the key ingredients for the BSMD applicant? Okay, so basically it's 6 key factors, and I will zero in deeply into it. academics, like I said, they need a perfect storm, right? Like perfect academics, then test scores. Please do not think that BSMD programs are test optional. They aren't. They have a lot of cutoff requirements for the SAT, ACT scores, and also scholarships are tied to SAT, ACT scores. I know so many colleges that offer scholarships based on the test scores. Research, that's something that's extremely, extremely important that they want to see in a BSMD or a med school aspirant. Okay, any kind of research that is there. But please remember, it has to be done with a university professor with a PhD. Okay, please don't think that AP research and AP seminar that you can do in high school, you can put it away as research experience. No, it's part of the curriculum. If you want to put research as an extracurricular activity, then it's a different ballgame. Okay, and community service. So they see a medical professional as somebody who contributes to the community and everything. So they want to see community service, volunteering, and the volunteering has to be specifically a little STEM related or medical or healthcare related community service. They want to see clinical exposure. That's something that's extremely critical because they want to see a student having shadowed or put themselves in a real medical environment, be it a doctor's office, a hospital, hospice care. They want to see that in a candidate's profile or that, right? So clinical exposure, it doesn't matter whether it's a pediatrician, even a dentist or a chiropractor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, anybody, any medical profession, they want to see a student having experienced it. Got it? And extracurricular activities, they need to see a wow factor in that. Okay, there are two kinds of students who apply to colleges. One is a generalist, a student who just applies to everything, or a parent who wants their child to go into everything. They're called the serial joiners, right? They sort of join every program that's out there, but they lack in consistency and commitment. Please remember that when you're building an extracurricular profile, it's got to have that commitment. It cannot just be a week. I keep hearing, what is the minimum amount of volunteering hours or how much hours? Please don't think that you can get into this hard program by just doing minimum stuff. Got it? You've got to put in that effort, right? So colleges like to see consistency and commitment. Was it a long-term activity that you took on, right? Did you do it over 2 summers? Did you do over two grades in your high school? So please look at longevity rather than experimentation or trying to accumulate everything, right? So please don't make sure that your child is a serial joiner. It's like you join every activity that's out there so that you can just put a tick mark into it. No, what they're looking for is impact, right? What have you done with that extracurricular activity? Did your talent and passion come out? Right? And that's why we create passion projects for our students so that we can show concretely what their talent and their strength is. Okay, so that is a generalist. Now to come to the specialist, these are students who pick 2 or 3 areas or 3 activities and go deeply into it. Okay, so I have students who do research and then they take it as a passion project and sort of build something out of it. Got it? So I had a student who did research on alopecia. Alopecia is the loss of hair, and this kid did an exceptional research in that topic. And he wanted to know how he could create into a passion project. And that is when I showed him how to get in touch with the Alopecia Association, local Alopecia Association, build awareness about alopecia in teens or adults, right? So that is how he took it into an activism and made it into his passion project. And another student who did research on prosthetics in developing countries. Got it? So that was his own research paper. He went a step further to make it into a passion project where he thought, oh, I could reach out to organizations to get sparsely used prosthetics because it's so expensive in the developing countries. And he wanted to bring disassemble them, ship it and assemble them. And he was that was his big idea or the goal. And he ran into a lot of obstacles, but he did make it into a passion project. Got it? So that is something that really pops in a student's profile, right? I can't emphasize enough how important a wow extracurricular activity is. Right? It's the amount of time, commitment, and impact that they do, right? It's got to be many surfaces deeper, right? To really pop your profile. And advocacy is also something that is very, very popular among the college admission process. Like, is your child a sustainability advocate? Like, become an advocate. I had my student who sort of was an advocate for diversity. So she started a book club where teens could come and discuss about their books and ideas and everything without judgment, right? So colleges want to see impact, right? And please encourage your children to do that. It may not seem to be a great idea in the beginning, but please don't shoot it down, right? See how it goes, and then give up on it. If you're like, it's the spark that we're looking for. Oftentimes, when children come to us, they don't have a very clear idea, right? But it's our job as adults to sort of encourage them to sort of go through that line, right? So if I were to tell you that 𝐂𝐡𝐢𝐥𝐝, my company, was started by my older son, right? So he had the spark in him that he wanted to mentor and teach kids how to communicate, right? Public speaking or conversation or anything, right? So I flew him on a red-eye flight to San Diego to hire a coach for him to build this company and everything. But now he's moved on, and I just took the company name in my wing to do counseling, right? And also he was so crazy about cryptocurrency that he and his friend he wanted to put Bitcoin ATM machines in all the malls. Oh, mom, like an ATM machine. I want to have Bitcoin ATMs everywhere. I'm like, okay, fine, do it. Then he and his friend got a Bitcoin ATM machine from Russia and wanted to spray paint that orange. I mean, I didn't stop him. I'm like, okay, go for it. Do whatever you want. You fail, I'm here, right? That's the attitude. And that's the encouragement that you need to give your child. It's okay to fail, but please try. Like, at least try something, right? Instead of just sitting in front and playing video games and wasting your time or binge watching Netflix. Do something, right? So that's the whole thing. But he couldn't pursue his cryptocurrency because our CPA said that he was not 18 and there is cash and money involved. But that's a spark that he had, right? And that's what I do. I see students having the spark and I guide them, right? So that's what the alopecia kid had, that spark. The prosthetic, the kid who did the prosthetics had that spark. So I believe that every child is unique and they have it in them. They just need the right guidance to like sort of veer through the right situation. So these are the 6 key ingredients or categories of BSMD profile. Okay, I'm going to dig deeper into it. So hang tight. Okay, the first one is academics. Okay, so they are looking for exceptional GPA. They're looking for class rank. A lot of schools say that they don't offer class rank, but it does show up in your school report or your recommendations. Got it? And also some colleges like Hofstra is very, very clear. If you are not between the 1 to 10 percentile of your class rank, please, you don't have much of a chance, right? So class rank is important. Then there is AP and IB courses. Please don't think that if you are in an IB curriculum, you're at a disadvantage. Actually, it's just the reverse. Colleges prefer IB curriculum because of the rigor and how well-rounded and how a deep learner it builds in students. Got it? So these are the three categories, and I call it the golden rectangle. If you're applying for a BSMD or a pre-med program, you absolutely need to have these 4 APs in your student's profile. One is AP Biology, of course, AP Chemistry, AP Physics, AP Math, it's calculus. Okay, it's calculus that they look for, and it doesn't matter whether it's AB or BC. Please don't, I know parents kind of over-engineer it. They are like, oh, if BC is available, I might as well push my child to take BC over AB. Please don't do that. I would, of course, I would always say get AB and then BC. BC is super, super hard, right? We don't want our child to struggle, and it does a lot of things with their self-esteem when their grades fall and they're struggling in their school, in their courses. So please be careful when you come to pick a course. And that's the reason I have a whole course selection module that I teach my students in my college counseling, because students need to drive that and see what courses to pick from their colleges. Okay, so stats is a good thing as well, but I would prefer AP Calculus over AP Stats. Okay, any STEM major, a college is going to look for AP Calc. Okay, so this is the golden rectangle that I call, which is very important in a student's profile. Okay, then coming to grades and rigor, they expect a high GPA, course rigor, course selection, class rank, AP awards, if you have scholar awards, capstone diploma, if a school provides a capstone diploma where they do AP seminar, research, and 4 APs, go for it. Okay, I always tell my students, look at your program of study or the details of the courses offered in your school first, right? Yeah, and IB diploma also is very, very good for this. Okay, and the scores that are needed for a BSMD or top schools is 1550, not even 1530. It's 1550 and an ACT of 35. Right, Duke is very, very clear that they need 35 in their, for their admissions, and of course, national merit. There's a big misconception that it's pre-SAT, but actually it's for the national merit qualification, which is a superb opportunity that is there. Okay, then now for the extracurriculars. Okay, so there are 3 things that come under the extracurricular activity umbrella. One is the volunteering, shadowing, and research. Like I mentioned, research is very, very, very important, right, in a student profile. And it's not like you have to do everything in the 9th grade. It's a cumulative, it's like an aggregation of all 4 years, right? When you're looking for a leadership opportunity, you're not going to get that in the freshman or the sophomore year. It takes consistency to build that, right? But you've got to keep building at it, right? So these are the 3 important components to make a wow extracurricular activity. And I'm going to dig deeper into them, okay? Volunteering, they typically expect a healthcare related volunteering, either in a hospital, in a clinic, in a hospice, anywhere that is, they are looking for volunteering. Right, I help my students get into the hospice care and other things. Because of the pandemic, it's still a little difficult to get into the shadowing programs. I know how difficult it is, but it's still very, very good to have it. Okay. Then the shadowing, I encourage my students to ask their pediatrician, a pediatrician who treats them, right? Go and tell them, hey, doctor so-and-so, hey, you know what? You've been seeing me in my from my diapers. Can you please give me an opportunity to shadow? And they will help you, because I asked my son's pediatrician and he was very willing. He said, you have, but the child has to have been my patient. I'm not going to take somebody external, but somebody who's my patient, I'm willing to take them for shadowing. So that's something that you can do that. And a dentist, chiropractor, a physician, anybody. And also, please don't just do it for a week. That's not enough. It takes consistency. You've got to go at it for a while, okay? And research, that's extremely, extremely important. There are 3 types of research again. You either publish a research paper, and again, please remember, any research needs to have been done with a university professor, not a PhD aspirant. Got it? It has to be done under an expert. Only then the paper that you submit for publishing for peer review, that's very, very important. Your paper should be peer reviewed, or your journal in order to be accepted, right? So it has to be done with a PhD professor. Okay, and working in a laboratory, right? So my student who got into the Pitt dental program, she had done research. She was in the Bridgewater or Hillsborough school district, where she worked in the Rutgers lab, and a research paper, she helped with the research paper, and her name came in that research paper, right? That was in a lab. And also hospitals or universities, if you get an opportunity. These days, it's extremely difficult for getting these two. So publishing a research paper under a professor is fairly popular these days, okay? So well-researched papers are journals. It's peer-reviewed by an expert, okay, and published in a scientific journal that accepts high school students. And the topic is mostly biomed related. Got it? So that's what makes a profile stronger. Okay. Also, there's teacher recommendation of the 6 parameters. This is another parameter that colleges look for. A teacher's recommendation is more in terms of how a student performs in the class. There's comments about maturity, intellectual curiosity, leadership are all very, very important. Okay, then they do look for leadership. Being a doctor is leading, right, is to make important decisions. So they do look for communication skills, mental toughness, ambition, right? This is all tested in the mini medical interview, which I'll tell you what it is, right? So it's good to gain leadership during the course of your school year. So it always happens when you're consistently going at something and getting that. You can be leader of a club or some activity that you're doing. My son used to volunteer in Teen Children, which is they refurbish computers and everything. And he became a team leader there. He was consistently going there, and that helped him with his profile. So look out for opportunities and be consistent to get leadership. Okay, and essays are another component for the BSMD program, but they come at a later stage in the senior year when you're applying for colleges, right? I spend a lot of time in my students writing all these specific BSMD essays, which is why medicine? Why do you want to be a doctor, right? Why this BSMD program? Or what is it that you've done, or you volunteered, or you've done a community service that sort of makes you a strong candidate for BSMD? So these are the very, very popular questions that just packaged differently for different colleges. Okay. Then they have a direct medical interview or a mini medical interview. So if you pass through the application process, first the Common App, then the college application, then they will invite you for an interview, which is typically during the January-February timeframe. And also the format is fairly different. I train my students in that. Sometimes it's just one person interviewing a student, or sometimes it's a whole committee that is interviewing a student. They have a lot of team building activities and everything, because they are looking for mental toughness. And yes, so sometimes now it's face-to-face, but during the pandemic, it was over the Zoom. Okay. Okay, so now for the advantages, we've seen both the programs, right? The BSMD and the non-BSMD, right? The advantages are you don't need to apply to the med school. So you're assured, you kind of have the peace of mind that, hey, I already have gotten admission into the medical school. Some of them, very rare cases, don't have the MCAT requirement. Some of them need some basic MCAT requirement to stay in the program. this access to unique opportunities because they build this program. You're working with industry experts in that. Okay. On the flip side, it's extremely hard to get accepted, right? Extremely hard, right? Like 1 to 3% hard to meet the graduation requirements. Like pretty much surviving the program is hard. One thing is getting in, but trying to maintain your GPA and all that requirement is the thing. And it's a longer application process. My students are exhausted by the time they've finished applying to 5 BSMD schools. They are like, I'm done, Joe. Can we just stop it now? Right? It's a long process to apply for these programs. It takes a lot of writing, planning, brainstorming, and tact and skill to do all of them. And of course, the BSMD programs are expensive. If you're looking at Brown Plume, which offers zero scholarship, it's like 85 grand a year, which is like 85 times 8 is, whoa, it's nearly 700 grand, right? 700 grand to do a BSMD program is quite staggering, right? But there are also a few colleges that are not that expensive. St. Louis is not that expensive. So any questions about the requirements? Okay. Okay, so let's get into the application process. Okay. So the BSMD program is basically a 3-step process. Number 1, you need to get accepted as an undergrad student in that college. Got it? So you need to submit your application in the Common App. Otherwise, if you're applying to Rutgers is not part of the Common App, it's part of SCORE. Or you can apply directly on Rutgers, but everything comes into the Common App, which is the general portal for applying to all colleges. So you need to apply that and get accepted and then be invited, because in the Common App, you're going to pick that, hey, I want to apply for your med program or the BSMD program. Brown Plume is one application. You can just submit everything in the Common App. But there are other colleges where you need to specify that, hey, I want to be considered to the medical program. And then they send you the acceptance, and then they invite you to create your own profile and apply for that. They have deadlines again for that. November 1st is Drexel. University of Alabama is November 15th. So that means you should have finished your testing and everything before August. Got it? And I know a lot of parents and students come to me during the senior year. Oh, I'm not taking the SAT, ACT. I'm like, why? Because you'll miss the deadline to apply to these colleges, right? And then there is this mini medical interview. If they like your application and accept it, then they will invite you to the mini medical interview. Like, for example, Stony Brook, that Anjali got in, their interview was super late, was about in March or something, the interview was. Or is it Drexel or anything, their medical interviews are at that time, okay? And I just want to show you what the process is, how I go about it. So this is the way we go about splicing and dicing the supplemental essays, the BSMD essays. We sort of do an overlapping exercise where we can repeat everything. And since my students have already applied many times, I have the BSMD prompts handy. We don't wait for the portal to open up before writing our essays. We start writing them in summer because we know what are the prompts that are there, and we are ready. And if there's any change in the prompt, then we can adjust it very, very quickly. Okay. So let's come to asking you a question. Have you gained clarity about the BSMD BSDO program? Okay. I need more love. I need more engagement. So please share. If you're multitasking, please come back. Let us see a knowledge check. Have you gained clarity into the different programs? Okay. Okay. Let's move on. Any questions, please type them. I will address them. Okay. So the question is, how do you beat the competition? Now that I've told you what is a BSMD program, what is their requirement, How do you beat the competition? How do you build a profile that's attractive to the BSMD, right? How? And I'm going to show you that, okay? You need to create, you or your child needs to create a plan to differentiate them from others, got it? They are not looking for a cookie cutter child who looks like everybody else. Just like you guys, you know how to go and pick the best fruit to nurture and take care of your family. These colleges know how to pick a candidate, right? So we need to make their candidature or their profile so stellar that they can't refuse it. And it's the sum total of all the years that is there. It's not like you just wake up one morning in your junior year and say, hey, I want to create a profile, right? That's not how it works. You need to start doing that. So that is where I'm going to tell you, share my formula, and not just the formula, the program that I've created for the BSMD, okay? So basically, I have these two programs currently, BSMD research with university professor, like I mentioned, Dr. 𝐂𝐴𝐥𝐝'. He is a professor in University of South Florida. He's a vaccine specialist, a data scientist. He runs the program. So students do research under him, and they write a 4,000-word research paper, which I help them publish in journals that accept student research. And I will share with you students. I've been running this program for 3 years, and I've had like over 200 students who've gone through the program, and they've gotten into exceptional schools. Right. And then I have the BSMD medical counseling. At the moment, this summer, I only take students who are applying this fall or who are seniors, rising seniors, because it's a lot of work that I work very, very closely with them to build their profile. I spend a lot of time in building their profile. Then in the fall of 2023, I'm coming up with how to build a passion project. Study skills. Nobody teaches kids how to do study skills. BSMD counseling for non-seniors as well. That will all come out in August. And it's typically a 9-week program where students, I run my BSMD program for non-seniors during the school year, because it has to go along with the school. Whatever I teach, they need to apply it in real time. So I don't run that over summer, okay? Okay, so I'll go deeper into the research program with Dr. 𝐂𝐴𝐥𝐝'. He's an amazing mentor. And like I mentioned, 4,000-word research journal to submit to publications that accept it. Okay, so this is Dr. 𝐂𝐴𝐥𝐝'. He's a professor, he's a vaccine developer, he's a senior data scientist, toxicologist, chemist, and social farmer. He lives in Tampa, and he has his own farm. So he's the one who will be guiding students. And this is his schedule. It's a flexible schedule. Students get to pick their own schedule from, I'm just going to show you how they pick their schedule. Okay, so we give students slots that they can pick. For example, June is almost done. So in July, we have dates, 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and 9 p.m. And in August, they get to make their own schedule with Dr. Raj. And I teach them how to write the research paper. We divide our responsibilities, where they go to Dr. Raj to learn deeply about the topic, and I teach them how to write a research paper. So every week is like, oh, today you write the introduction, then you come back in the next class and you write your thesis. I even teach them how to write the body paragraph, because it's not an overnight thing to write a 4,000-word document. So that's what is our research program. It's been a very successful program, and my students have gotten into Stanford and Johns Hopkins, Fulbright, Case Western, just about a lot of colleges using the research. Okay, so this is the schedule with Dr. 𝐂𝐴𝐥𝐝'. Like I mentioned, I shared it. Students can pick their slot. If you have vacation in between or anything, it's perfectly fine. I had students who say that, oh, I have my QMON class, I can't make it that day, but we have a very open schedule that they can pick. Okay, and my schedule is kind of fixed. I teach, it starts on July 10th, and we meet every Mondays and Wednesdays to write our research paper. Okay, so for our comprehensive counseling, this is what I offer for high school students who are BSMD aspirants who are ready to apply in the fall. Basically, like I mentioned, the three-step process. I help them apply to the Common App, the BSMD medical application, then I prepare them for the mini medical interview. It's an extensive preparation that I do with them. Okay. So what's included? Pretty much everything is included. It's a year-long program. I help them create their resume, their extracurricular. You've already gotten your extracurricular activities, but it's time to tell an exceptional story, how to create a passion project out of the extracurricular activities is all included in that. We have a blend of 15 colleges to apply in the Common App, and we apply to 5 BSMD programs. Beyond that, it's like a lot of work. Of course, I help with scholarships. The way I build my college list is so unique that that students get a very good range. I don't believe in breaking the bank in putting your child to college. Okay. And yeah, basically, this is what is included in my package. The guidance, 5 BSMD, BSDO, the application, essays, resume preparation, mini medical interview, and everything is included in that. And how do I go about the program? It's a 4-step process where we've broken it into preparation, filling out the application, staging and submission to the Common App, and then the BSMD application. So it's a 4-step process. And the benefits of joining my program is it's a structured program for BSMD. Accountability, the student is in charge. You get expert guidance in every aspect of the college application. I have Coach Anusha, who specializes in passion project. I have Virgil and Dr. Jen, who are creative writers, right? And then I have Smrita, who's an expert in the Common App. She makes students fill out the Common App. She's super at it. And of course, I have essay coaches, ex-admission officer, who will be helping students with resume, and expense date admission officer who will help with the final essay. Okay, and everything is like a brainstorming exercise in my world, right? And now for the question, are you excited to see your child transforming? Are you excited? I certainly am. Okay. Yes. Okay. So every time I run this program, I get super excited to see my students in the research program, and they always surprise me with the kind of topics that they come up with. And I'm going to show you the number of research papers that have been published so far and their contribution. Right? It's like when you see them in their thesis defense, you sort of have to pinch yourself and remind yourself that these are high school students, not some expert doctor or researcher that are out there. Okay. Okay, so moving on for the research paper bonuses, I do have $100 off on the research program. Only our biomed research is open with Dr. 𝐂𝐴𝐤 because of its flexible schedule. We will be closing it soon as we meet our numbers. And how to register, you can go to giftedgabber.com. I'm going to show you my website. So this is giftedgabber.com. If you're interested in the counseling program, you can click this and submit this form, and you will get all the information that is there. If you're interested in the research program, it's right there on our website. You will have the complete details about the program, like what is included in every week, the schedule, and where you're going to publish your research paper. Okay, all that is there. Dr. 𝐂𝐴𝐤's bio is there. We have Smrita, a wonderful program coordinator. Maui, amazing. She is our webinar expert, and she's the one who runs the biomed program, right? And she makes sure that every student gets an opportunity to showcase and work with Dr. Raj. Yeah. And all these published papers, you can take a look at them. These are the research papers that have been published in the Journal of Student Research. So what happens is, I'm just going to show you what happens if a student publishes. For example, Parkinson's disease biomarkers was done by 𝐂𝐡𝐢𝐥𝐝 Mohapatra. So you can see 𝐂𝐡𝐢𝐥𝐝's research paper here, all the details about the research paper that he wrote by working with Dr. Raj. Okay, so you will see, and also getting your paper published is an achievement, right? And also you can insert the DOI link in your research. I'm sorry, in your resume. Admission officers do look at external links and everything, and that's a wonderful achievement to have. So you can see all the research papers that have been published, and also if you want to get an idea of the different topics that students have picked, you can go to our 𝐻𝐞𝐥𝐵 website and past research papers, and you will see all the research papers that have been done by the students. Okay, so I'm really proud of my students. And like, for example, Gaurav, he got offers from every single college that was there that he applied. He did research twice, right? And use of melatonin in breast cancer was his topic. I mean, can you believe a high school student doing this kind of research? Also, my students combine AI with their biomed research. Then this is on Alzheimer's. Sanjana did a research to find out if this particular medication, which is called 𝐰𝐞𝐥𝐿, is it a miracle drug for Alzheimer's, right? So that is the level of detail and effort that my students put in. Okay, yes. And let's get ahead with so it's giftedgabber.com. You can go in and check all the programs that are available and enroll from there. Okay, so the counseling pricing, you'll have to get into that, like I showed you, the comprehensive counseling, and you will be able to schedule a call with me, and we will go over what package, what are the pricing that will be offered. Okay. And the bonus that you're going to get is BSMD list of colleges that don't need MCAT. Then you will get this whole slide deck for your reference. Okay. Okay. So now for the question, do you think a structured approach is a recipe for success, or do you feel like it's just a scattered program? Do you believe that a structured, guided, results-oriented program is important? Yeah. Good. Okay. So the question is, why Gifted Gabber, right? Why Coach Joe, or why me at all, right? Why? You have tons of people out there who can guide and mentor you, but why do you need to pick us, right? It's because I've literally cracked the code for a BSMD program by leveraging my unique program. It's not like throwing a plan at a student, right? You literally have to make them do it, right? And knowledge, knowing about it is one thing, and sort of implementing is another thing, and that is our strength, the implementation part of it, like literally creating that profile that no college can refuse. That is our mission. Okay. So basically, how has this knowledge helped my students? It's transformed them. They've had extremely good level of success in landing into colleges. Of course, BSMD is a very tough program, and my success rate is 1 to 2 students per year, because I take that less number of students, and it's an extremely difficult program, right? So it's a proven success strategy, right? You can either go to a cave trying to light a matchstick and finding your way, or you can come to us, Gifted Gabber, and we will turn on the blowtorch to light up the whole cave, right? So the choice is yours. You will have a profile that no college can refuse, because the programs that we offer are innovative and unique. You won't find this kind of mentorship anywhere else, the results-oriented mentorship, right? That's the number one thing. And right, you have a choice. You can either do it trial and error on your own, right? You will figure it out, but it's going to take you a long time to figure out, or you can come to us and use our blueprint or our success strategy for your child. So the choice is yours, okay? And, okay, so basically, you will have, when you join any of my programs, it's so thorough. I'm an insane perfectionist. And I have a wonderful team that works with me, like Maui, who's there here. She's amazing. And every student is paired with an intern or a mentor to sort of help them to do that. And my programs are intense and pretty tough, right? So yes, you will get the success formula for the BSMD college to help your child land in the college of their dreams. There will be no missing steps, no confusion, and it's the most effective way to get maximum acceptances and tons of scholarships. Because the way I pick colleges, you will have a blend of reaches, likelies, matches, safeties, and everything, right? So yes, what you will get is a compelling research that would look exceptional on your student's profile, or inspiring BSMD essays. You don't know how hard it is to write them, and my technique really helps students write exceptional essays. You will have an amazing resume. Resume is very, very important for a BSMD program. Of course, the end result is a mind-blowing profile, a unique profile that no college can refuse. And this is not fluff. I will make your student work, and it is going to be tough, right? So that's what I have. I just want to share our results. I know it's been over an hour, but I had to pack in so much content. I'm not just going to do surface things. I will give you the truth, right? So my success story has been, my students have won over $5 million in scholarships in total, right? 90%, I aim to get your child into 90% of the colleges that they apply to. And I cannot assure acceptances or provide you a guarantees against the principals, but I try my best. My students get multiple scholarship offers. I even teach parents how to negotiate for more money and scholarship. And my students have gotten into over 200 colleges, different colleges so far, okay? So our success stories when it comes to the pre-med program, Harvard pre-med, my student has gotten in, Texas NMed program, Augusta BSMD program, St. Louis, Stony Brook BSMD, UC Merced has a new SJV Prime Plus that my student got into. Then the pre-med program success, Vanderbilt, Johns Hopkins full ride, NYU pre-med, Case Western. I love Case Western. That's where most of the Nobel laureates did their research. So Case Western gives a lot of scholarships as well. My students have gotten into this. The student who did research on prosthetics got a lot of scholarship from Case Western. Okay, so I want to tell you, I want to show you a sample acceptance letter that's handwritten by an admissions officer. In this case, it's from Duke. And I'm going to read it out. It says, I enjoyed reviewing your application, and the admissions committee was impressed by your innovative projects and research prowess. Got it? So research was the single most reason, apart from academics and test scores, that got this student into Duke. Okay, at Duke, you can continue innovating in maker spaces like Foundry and through programs like Duke's Team. right? So this is a handwritten note. And as a counselor, I have to visit a lot of colleges and speak with admissions officers. And the number one thing I ask them, of course, is what's your selection criteria, or how do you select students? You can't ask them, oh, can you please give me the blueprint of how your college selects students? I mean, that's unethical. And they tell me that they do look for unique profiles and specifically research, because it shows that the student is a deep learner, right? And they made an effort to be a subject matter expert, right? And they want to see a student doing research in their profile. And of course, community service, what impact they've done, and a passion project, right? So colleges, the way they view at it is past is equal to your present, right? Whatever you've taken time to do in your past, you're going to continue doing that in the college, right? So that's what they're looking for. Okay, so have you gained clarity? I'm going to ask you again. Was this presentation fruitful or not? Was it worth your time? Because I took away a lot of your Friday evening. So I just want to make sure you got enough knowledge here. You've armed yourself with the appropriate amount of knowledge so that you can go and guide your child. Okay, wonderful. So let's start with the questions. Okay, Maui, let's go. Questions.
Okay, let me roll back. There's a lot of questions here. Let me just roll
That's
back.
good. Questions means you really, really care, right? You're here. You're here to
Okay.
learn. Yeah.
So question number 1. So students don't need to take MCAT if they are in BSMD program?
Not every program waives off the MCAT requirement. Very, very, very few. So it depends from college to college. Great.
Oh, okay. So can you please explain early assurance once again?
Okay. So early assurance is you haven't committed to the BSMD program. Got it? You have 2 years into your undergraduate to decide whether you want to pursue a BSMD program. Got it? You don't need to make that consideration when you're applying after high school, right? You're given more time to decide whether you want to pursue. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification, Coach. And is ACT required or preferred for BSMD?
It's ACT or SAT, either one of them. So it's test scores that are needed. Good, very good test scores.
And if a student does not have any research experience, is that a limiting factor?
I can't say that for sure, but it's all we trying to bolster or create a stellar profile. So research adds to that, right? It's a very competitive landscape. So I cannot say that it's a limiting factor, but it's one of the important factor if you want to strengthen your profile.
All right. And is your research program still useful for rising senior?
Absolutely. My students are who are applying for colleges, they are part of my program. Sai, who was my BSMD candidate last year, did it over summer. And when you write in the Common App, you can still, when you're writing about your exercises, about your research program, you say that you worked over summer with Dr. 𝐂𝐡𝐢𝐥𝐝 and you wrote a 4,000-word research paper that you're going to submit it for publication, right? So yes, it's a very, very important, because you specify in your extracurricular activity that research is an activity, right? So yes.
Okay. And does perfect academics necessarily mean only 4.0, or is it okay with 3.9? Also, is there any specific range on ACT and SAT scores that make the student competitive for BSMD?
Great question, and I did address them, but I'm going to address them again. So yes, academics, I mean, it's preferred. Not every student is going to get 3.9 or 4.0, right? And 1550 plus is the SAT score that they're looking for, and ACT would be anywhere 35. Super score to 35. Yeah.
All right. And is any university fine to attend BSMD program, or it has to be great college?
All BSMD programs are offered by great colleges. Got it? Please don't misconstrue that a college is bad or good. They're offering a BSMD program. They're an exceptional school, right? And SAT score should be 1550.
All right. And what impact does EOC scores have in BSMD admissions?
End of CEOC, I don't know what that is, but they are super important. If you're talking about test scores and GPA, they are very, very important.
And can you talk a little bit more about research program? What is an IB course?
I did mention about my research program. Just going to share that again. Okay, so this is the research program that we run with Dr. 𝐂𝐴𝐤. You can find that on 𝐔𝐻𝐿, where you do this research with the university professor, with Dr. 𝐂𝐴𝐤 over summer, and you write your research paper and sort of submit it for like journals and everything to bolster your profile, right? IB curriculum is International Baccalaureate, which is a very different program.
All right, thank you for that clarification. And is it okay to take AP Biology in 12th grade? Is it still considered? How many hours of shadowing is necessary?
It doesn't matter. It's some total of 4 years. So if you're taking in senior year, it doesn't hurt you at all. You just want to see it in your profile. And shadowing, like as many hours as you can get, 20 plus or 40 plus hours is pretty good.
Okay. And is it important for them to be published, or is it okay for them to still state that they are working for the research professor?
Okay, so please let me tell you, publishing does not happen overnight. It takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months to publish a research paper. My student Sai, who got into St. Louis, he had not published his research paper, but he said he had submitted for publishing and he worked or is still working with a professor. So we don't sort of embellish or lie in our application because it raises red flags. Colleges know if you say, oh, I did research for a month and it got published, it's going to raise red flags because they do know that it takes, if you're a PhD candidate or you're doing PhD, it takes anywhere from 6 months to a year to publish a research paper and you're in high school. So they do know that, and there's no lying or sort of padding your thing. You tell the truth. Sai told the truth. He had not published his research paper. He had just finished it.
Okay, that's a little bit realization also. And is it too late to get into your research program and get paper published for fall admission application?
It's not late. You will do research, but please remember, publishing is not an overnight thing. It's a peer review process, meaning you submit your paper for publishing. It has to be reviewed for somebody who's an expert. So please don't think that it has to be published in order to get in the program. No, you can mention that you have submitted it for publishing or you're still working on the research paper, and it's still a good extracurricular activity. It still puts you in the running, right? That's what my students have done.
And when do BSMD application portals normally open?
Okay, so that varies from college to college. It depends on the college list that you're building, right? So there's not generic time. Some of them are November 1st, due date. Some of them are November 15th, December 1st, December 15th, January 15th, a lot. It just varies.
Okay. And can a student do research after junior year?
Absolutely. Research can be done anytime before applying for colleges. Yes.
Okay. And how many years is BSDO program?
It's the same like BSMD, 8 years, 7 or 8 years.
Okay. And can the research paper be published by college admissions timeline?
Like I mentioned, it's not in our hands. We submit for publishing. Like for now, my students will be working towards submitting for publishing by August 31st. So they have about 2 months to work on their research paper, but they can only submit. acceptances are not in their hand, right? It takes a long time for a research paper to be published.
And is it suggestible to attempt SAT 4 times? And who got the 1530 so far?
Sure. 1530 is good enough. I think you can stop taking your test from there, right? That's a pretty good score. You don't need to the enhancement is going to be 20 points only, and you're going to spend so much time in preparing for the exam. So you rather spend time in building your profile. That's a pretty good score.
So is it okay to have 4-time attempt
That's
SAT?
okay. That's okay.
All right.
You can super score it, yeah.
And how expensive is BSMD program?
It depends on your college list. There's no generic number to that. If you're applying to Brown Plume, you're looking at 700K, but my student got 125K scholarship in St. Louis University. So it depends on the college list and looking into their college fee.
And how do you apply for early assurance?
Yeah, that's part of my counseling. I cannot just show you how to do that. It's a lengthy process. Again, it depends on your college list that you built and preparing the profile and submitting it in the Common App.
And is there any way for me to get one-on-one consultation before obtaining your service?
Yeah, certainly.
Okay. And can students shadow any doctors like dentists, for example, or should be generally physician?
It can be any medical professional. Dentists are perfectly fine.
Okay, down to the last question. What kind of shadowing is recommended, like under doctor or nurse or administration, etc.?
They're looking for a medical facility. So it's like an actual treatment facility, like a pediatrician's office or a dental office or anything where they expect students to physically be there and attend the shadowing. Okay, and I have unmuted anybody, anyone who wants to, I'm sorry, you can unmute and ask your question if you have. I will take one question. Anyone has any other question? No other questions?
This one. How much is the counseling advisory program? How long would take? My child is gonna start 11th grade of high school and early college.
Very nice. We haven't come out with the pricing and everything. You can join my wait list on giftedgapper.com, and you will we will share all the details with you when it gets started. So let me share my website. You can go there and join my wait list, be part of my Facebook group and everything, and we will announce. Right. So we don't have the pricing now.
And what is the maximum and minimum shadowing required?
Minimum of 40 hours. There's no maximum. The more time you put in, the better it is.
Okay. And if I would like to consult you, where should I contact you?
Yeah, you can send me a message or call the phone on giftedgapper.com, on my Facebook group, anywhere.
Okay, so that is the last question on my end, Coach.
Great. Anyone has any other questions?
Yes, excuse me. How long would take once you take a student under your wing? What's the best time? My child is gonna be in 11th grade. Is this the best time for him?
He can start off with the research program. Got it. So that is why that is what I offer in summer to build a profile. Then I do my counseling course, which is a 9-week program that I start either in August, where every week student comes to me and they build one aspect of their college profile. So in 9 weeks, they've built the different components. One is building their courses, right? We want students to work on it. The next is the test strategy. 1 week they work on it. And next is how to look for volunteering opportunities. Another is how to build extracurricular activity, passion projects. So every week we come out with it, and that counseling program we will start in August. Yeah.
Are you gonna send information about it, or could you send me information?
Yes.
Two questions more. My child is in a high school and early college. He's supposed to finish in 2 years. He's an A+ student, and suddenly he got sick with long-term COVID, and it's the worst nightmare ever. He got still all A's in high school, but it was a little harm in his college classes, because literally part of the problem is chronic fatigue and brain fog, etc. He's under care of neurologists, cardiologists, like a team, like 6 specialties. It's really unbelievable. We pray for him to get healed soon. There is no cure, so it's very challenging.
Yeah, I'm a pranic healer, and I'm going to pray for your child. I want to bless him, bless your child, bless you, bless your projects. Please hang in there. Everything will work out for you. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, if you can send us information, because we just want to make sure that we can do as much as possible. But there is a point that if the health issue doesn't improve, we want to see how, how to restore things, or how he doesn't get stress on the time that he's gonna be waiting.
No problem. Please hang in there. Health is the first priority at the moment, and seems like your child is an exceptionally smart kid. So once your child recovers, he will certainly be able to catch up. So please take care of your health, and everything will work out for you. Okay?
Yes. So I don't know if how can I get in touch with somebody. I just want to make sure that I receive the information for the August and any other opportunity.
Yeah, you will get it in the email blast, my Facebook. I will be shouting on the rooftops. So I'm just kidding. You will get that information. Okay. Thank you for coming, and bless your child, and I pray for him. Okay.
Thank you so much.
So there's another question. Do we need to take any written document certificate from doctor after shadowing with them to show the student? Okay, so there's another thing that I want to address about recommendations, is that it's a blind recommendation. You cannot upload anything into the Common App. So if that doctor is a recommender, then the college will send them a recommendation form to fill out directly. Got it? But still, it's a very good idea to take the letter and everything, because you need to keep it in record. If the college has any questions and you have to share any proof, it's always good to maintain that. And also, please go to a reputed nonprofit that is a 501c3, and please get all the R's and everything documented. Got it? If there are any red flags on your college application, they're just going to call the counselor, the high school counselor, and not the student. So the high school counselor needs to be aware. Please make sure there are no red flags. And it's like reputed, and everything is written. You have a paper trail and everything. So that's something that's very, very important. Great question. Yeah. Any other questions, guys?
What document should we get for proof of showing?
Shadowing, you can get it in their letterhead that you did shadowing from this date to that date. You performed these duties. A generic letter is pretty good. Yeah. Great question. Okay, I'm going to take one last question. If nobody has any questions, I will let you guys go. It's 10:38. I really appreciate you coming in here. You are dedicated parents. You care a lot about your child, that you spent an hour and a half gaining knowledge about this. Okay, so I want to bless you, bless your family, bless your projects, and bless your children. Okay, bye now.